We have a lot of things to talk about. So many things dropped at MagicCon. This is Goblin Grenade Podcast, episode 36, the MagicCon post-show, if you will. My name is Dom Douglas, the back-to-back commentator of the year for XWW, and this is the intro.
My name is Dom Douglas, and I am back-to-back XWW commentator of the year. With that comes some responsibilities, but also a lot of fun and excitement, and I'm never ashamed to look like a complete fool. Speaking of that, I love playing Magic the Gathering, so much so that I kind of think I play it a little bit too much, and I have some opinions. So now, ExtremeTVOnline.com and XWW Wrestling on YouTube presents my podcast where I talk about Magic the Gathering. It's the Goblin Grenade Podcast.
Currently working on a new intro because of the new channel at Max Villains and Heroes here on YouTube. And we're going to kick things off immediately with MagicCon post-show. But first, let me just digress really quick. Black Ops 6, I've been playing a lot of it, a gratuitous amount of it, if you will. But the thing is, I'm digging it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not as terrible as I thought I was, as I said before. And some of the things that I found weird, they've fixed. Like, you get backfilled into a game, which means you go into a game already started, and it does this weird thing where you have control of your character, but you can't do anything while it loads in, but yet you can still get beaten. And that was a little disconcerting to me. A couple of the wonkier things, it seems to be taken care of. Zombies mode is great. It's a perfect hybrid of Warzone and round-based. And that's going to be all I say. I haven't Prestige once already. I don't have Diamond. Camo for most of my weapon, for one specific class of weapons. But that being said, Magic now. It's Magic time. That's right. How do I say this? There's a lot of things that are going to be changing within Magic the Gathering once Foundations come out. Foundations is the newest set of Magic the Gathering, and from Wizards' initial intro, your favorite legends and planeswalkers are here with quintessential magic from across the multiverse. This set was made for past, present, and future Magic players. This product is also going to be standard legal until 2029. That was their original post about it, along with a couple previews, and I get it. Where I see this set falling in is helping design team, and this is what I hope. I hope we'll get to it in a little bit, but there's going to be a lot of sets coming out in the year moving forward. 6 standard legal sets to be precise. Those are going to be smaller sets. Why? Because Foundations is going to take care of we need the 1 or 2 drop green creature that taps for a green mana or a colorless mana. We need black removal spell. We need a blue counter spell. We need a red direct damage spell. We need a white life gain spell. We need tap lands that come into play that tap for more than one color. This set will take care of those always needed in a set things. So I feel you're going to see, because of Foundations, set sizes decrease for the first time in Magic's history. But that being said, for the first time since they've started pumping out 200, 300, 400 card sets, I think your average set moving forward, that's not Foundations, is going to be around 200-ish cards, because design team doesn't have to worry anymore about having to either reprint something or create a new, different version. How many Llanowar elves can you print in Magic the Gathering? There's a lot of them. And are they all needed? No. So, that being said, I think this is going to help design team lessen the load when it comes to building sets. But also, it is being brought in as a way to introduce new players and returning players to Magic the Gathering. I honestly think Foundations is going to be the biggest home run in standard sets moving forward. I absolutely adored Bloomburrow. I didn't get to draft or play nearly as much of it. But I think Foundations, with how they've lined it up and the cards I've seen, I think this is going to be Magic the Gathering's biggest home run for Standard to get new players into the Standard player base. To the point that next year's, I think it's 2 Standard World Tours, Pro Tours for Magic the Gathering. 2 of the 3 Pro Tours are going to be Standard. That is how much Wizards of the Coast is relying on this Foundation set. To the point that they're calling it the Foundations era of Magic the Gathering as I drink a cup of coffee. Sorry about that. I've already touched in. It's bringing many changes with it. This set, as I said, is legal till 2029. It's also streamlining, at least what they've said, some combat. Before, if you attacked me with like a big 20 power, 20 toughness creature, and I had 15 3/3s on the board, I could throw as many of the blockers in as I wanted to block that creature in its entirety and at least damage it enough that it is removed from the battlefield. I will lose all my creatures as well, but I won't lose nearly as much as you would. So you would have to say I blocked with 10 of my 3/3s, 3 power, 3 toughness creatures. You had to go down the line and deal lethal damage to the first one, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one. You couldn't just do, I'm going to do 1 point of damage to this, 1 point of damage to that creature, 50 points of damage to this creature. The only time you could do that is if your creature had Death Touch, because the rules stated that lethal damage has to be dealt. So with Death Touch, as long as I do that creature does 1 point of damage to another creature, that creature is removed from the battlefield. But now I can just divvy up the damage however I want between all the creatures. So I can just do 1 point of damage to like 8 of the creatures and then 10 points to the other 2. This is going to make combat tricks a little more exciting, if you will. I'm kind of agreeing to it because already if you had Death Touchers involved in a multi-blocked attack, you kind of already did this to an extent. So that was that. That was the biggest rules change that they've already announced with Foundations. They're also streamlining the release schedules for normal Magic sets and Universes Beyond. So 2025, many changes are going to happen with the schedule releases of product. 6 booster sets each year, basically 6 sets going into Standard. And 3 of these sets will be a normal, quote-unquote, Magic the Gathering plane. The other 3 will be a Universes Beyond set. So that means all the Universes Beyond product moving forward will be legal in every format, as opposed to being only legal in Modern and Beyond. And before that, like Modern, Vintage, Commander, Legacy, Pioneer, not even Pioneer. The older non-rotating formats. And they said, case in point, Lord of the Rings, which was a Modern and Beyond, Modern and before set, sees a lot of play in Modern, and the Assassin's Creed set sees nothing. I mean, I already said the Assassin's Creed IP, they must have gotten really cheap because nobody bought that product, I feel. And nobody's playing it either. There was no good design in that. I don't even see rolling in Commander games either. So your Universes Beyond sets are now going to be Standard legal. And that's just basically pulling in more people into the game because Universes Beyond has brought a lot of people to the game. Case in point, it started with Ikoria for me. My personal history, it started with Ikoria for me because my girlfriend is a huge Godzilla fan. And Ikoria had the Godzilla special treatments. So that's why her first ever Commander deck was Ghidorah. Because she bought like 5 of the Godzilla cards. Never played a game of Magic in her life. Never even cared about it. Went to the store with me when she was visiting down here. Saw that they had the Godzilla cards and was like, ooh, shiny and pretty. Let me have. So now she has Ghidorah and Tiamat and a whole bunch of other Commander decks. But that's how it started with her, Universes Beyond. And this is where Wizards of the Coast is lining not just their pockets, but also their prospects in their future. And if you want to come at it with, Wizards is greedy because they want more money, they're only driven by profit. What do you think a corporation does? Expect to run at a loss? You're not going to release a product that you don't feel is going to sell. And if you know that you have products that are going to sell, you would like to make more of that product to drive more money. And look, at the end of the day, the only reason why Hasbro, the company, still exists is because of Magic the Gathering. It is the only profitable part of that entire corporation. So of course they're going to milk it dry. Now, we'll get into it in a little bit when they brought MSRP back of how you should go about it when it comes to Wizards only cares about money. We'll get to that in a bit. But just saying, greedy corporations greedy. Yeah, all corporations are greedy, no duh. But if that's the only baseline argument, come on, like, get it together, collect your thoughts a little bit easier, a little bit better, unlike me, and basically come at it with an actually intelligent angle instead of saying, "Durr, I'm tired of money machine," going burr. Also, rotation is now going to be changing as well. Rotation is going to change from the fall of the year. So we just had rotation not too long ago, like early spring, late summer, early fall is when rotation happens. Usually the third set of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Now it's going to change to the beginning of the year, more specifically the first standard set released in the year. This is going to change a little bit. There's going to be no rotation for 2025 because it's being pushed back a couple months. That's it. And here's the issue with that. They've already said 3 Universes Beyond sets, 3 normal-ish Magic sets, and that is 6 standard sets per year in a 3-year rotation of standard, meaning at any given time, there will be 18 sets legal in standard. Yes, that's right. 18 sets legal. This is where I don't like it because now I'm out of standard. And I had just bought my mice deck. Never even got to play it on paper. And I don't think I can play standard. It's going to be too much. 18 Magic the Gathering sets released in that 3-year window will all be legal in standard. And on rough average, about 200-ish cards per set, 250 cards per set, 18 sets, 4 divided by 18, 16, to over 2,200-ish cards will be in the standard pool at any time at standard. Moving forward in a couple of years, when probably by the end of 2026, we will see that many sets being standard legal. We're going from 12, around 12-ish, to 18 at any given time. That's a lot. But I think also that's why Foundations is going to exist, because it's going to make design team easier now that they have to release 6 sets a year. MSRP returns, and this is where I come with the greed. This is where I don't like certain things. Now, MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, used to exist for every product of Wizards of the Coast. A couple of years ago, they decided to get rid of it. If we were playing Fallout 4, the bar over the left side of the screen would be everybody disliked that. And we have. None of us have liked it. Even retailers, even Magic the Gathering retailers, card stores, your local game stores do not like the fact that MSRP does not exist. But now it's coming back in individual play boosters, collector's boosters, bundles, and commander decks. So MSRP is going back for those specific products, not play booster boxes, individual booster packs. Collector boosters, which I agree with, bundles, and commander decks. That being said, Foundations, once again, the Foundations era that they're calling it of Magic, is where this kicks off, and I have the side monitor right here. Play boosters for foundations will be $5.25 MSRP. Everything is going to be MSRP here. Collector boosters are going to be $24.99. Starter collection is going to be $60. Jumpstart boosters will be $5.49. The bundles will be $50. Beginner box, $29.99. I'm sorry, the bundles will be $49.99. Then we're moving on to Innistrad Remastered, which is the first set that comes out, which is that weird non-standard product coming out. Play boosters will be $7, and then collector's boosters will be $30. And then the first standard set of the year for next year, which is Aether Drift, the MSRP for that will be play boosters at $5.49. Collector boosters, $24.99. The commander decks will be $44.99. The bundles will be $53.99. And the specialty bundle will be $79.99. Think Duskmourn's special Nightmare bundle and Phyrexia all will be one bundle. Now, what I don't like, play boosters are way expensive now. No longer will you be probably able to go into stores, hopefully, and get and get 3 packs for $10. That doesn't exist anymore, I know, but now it's like 3 packs for like $16 or $14. Now that the MSRP is where this one gets me, where you can say the greed is prevalent. That is a significant price jump, I feel, as well, from what I've been paying for. I've been paying usually like $3 to $4 per pack on the last couple of sets in stores, and now I'm going to have to pay $5 for a pack for play boosters that they're calling them now. They used to be draft boosters. They used to be called just booster packs. And now, the thing I do like, the bundles though, you got me on the bundles. I like the price. 50 should be the bundle price. And the commander decks in Aether Drift. I like the fact that Foundations doesn't have commander decks, precons. Hopefully they don't have precons. They haven't said anything, but they don't see, you don't see it on the MSRP. And Innistrad Remastered just has the play boosters and collector boosters. So that was the MSRP, and that's where I kind of disagree. I mean, commander decks have traditionally been in that $40 to $50 price range, but now doesn't matter if it's the best commander deck ever made, unless it's like, like a Modern Horizons 3, it's going to be $50. And if stores charge more in store, then you can just shop around, which is what was missing beforehand. I'm just kind of glad the last commander deck I bought in a store was the Bloomburrow, the Squirrel deck. And I'm glad I did get it when I did get it, because I didn't get it for $40. Got it for like double that price. But I'm so glad that I got it, because that deck is, to buy that deck now has spiked considerably. Now we are going to break down next year's sets. Wow. Next year's sets, there's a lot. This is the first year, 2025 will be the first year of the three standard Magic the Gathering planes of existence and 3 universes beyond. But we're kicking things off with Innistrad Remastered, dropping January 24th of 2025. All dates will be in 2025. Edgar Markov is getting a reprint and 4 different flavors. The Edgar Markov is also introducing headliner cards. For this one, it's a single card that gets a special treatment and will be considered the chase card. Edgar Markov has 4 different printings in various different ways. A retro frame, a borderless, a alternate art, special art piece design, and they can be different types of foiled. This will be the chase cards moving forward, and some of them will be serialized as well. Then Aether Drift in February 7th comes out, and this actually takes place across 3 planes and is racing inspired. We're going to follow Chandra as she's racing across the planes in the Omen path, because she lost her spark, I think. And a lot of planeswalkers lost their spark and can't really traverse by jumping to different planes anymore. They have to take the Omen paths, which were opened up in the end of the Phyrexian War. And now you're just racing across. And they said this was the racing NASCAR style inspired set. Then Tarkir Dragonstorm drop on April 11th. And going back to Tarkir, Tarkir was my true reintroduction to Magic the Gathering. Dragons of Tarkir, Khans of Tarkir was my favorite set. Fate Reforged, that set, that 3-piece, when they used to do themed sets that lasted that long, that got me truly hook, line, and sinker back into the format. I had just gotten back in with like Theros, but I was only dipping my toes in it. I was messing around with the Professor's deck, that blue-white heroic deck. That kind of got me back into it. But Dragons of Tarkir, Khans of Tarkir really got my hooks back. It really dug Magic the Gathering's hooks into me and got me right back into the game. So I'm glad we're finally going back to Tarkir, because it's been a hot minute since we've been there. Also, if you're new to the game, this is what Tarkir, they haven't said anything about it, but I know when we were there last time, it was considered a wedge set. And that basically means this set cares about 3 colors. You know, the Mardu. Mardu is the only one I remember off the top of my head because it's one I play a lot. That is white, red, and black. So yeah, like, it's caring about 3 different color combinations in the set. So they haven't said anything about it, but I'm glad we're going back. And then June 13th, the set I'm very hyped for on top of it, and we're hitting back to back. Very hype train, very real for me here, is the Final Fantasy set, Universes Beyond. I will freely admit, I adore the Lord of the Rings set. I bought so much of it. I play so much of it. I have so many stupid Lord of the Ring Commanders decks, and not even the precons either, ones I built. I have 4 Lord of the Rings precons, 4 Lord of the Ring Commander decks. I have Tom Bombadil, Aragorn the Uniter, Legolas and Gimli, Counter of Kills, and I think I have another one floating around, or at least in my head. And I can make at least 7 more if I wanted to. And Final Fantasy is one of my favorite genres, like one of my favorite franchises of all time. I own almost every single game in some form, whether it's being on PlayStation, the PlayStation 1 discs, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I mean, yeah, the 13 trilogy was kind of trash. I know it's a hot take, but you're talking about a guy who actually loved Final Fantasy 12. My favorites, though, is 9. Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite of all time. And I have a deep love for 8, even though also, once again, it's like, oh, this guy likes Final Fantasy 8. Kind of got me in to role-playing games. Officially. Yeah, like Final Fantasy 8 was my starting point into the role-playing game genre. And now it completely has gotten its hooks into me. I say that a lot in this episode. But truth be told, yeah, Final Fantasy I'm very excited for. The explanation, it's a one-time set too, you know. They're not doing Final Fantasies 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. Although I do like 10 as well. And 10 too. Yes, that's right. I do like Final Fantasy 10 too. And not because of how you think the fan service is. I actually like the Dress Fear system in that game. It was kind of cool. So yeah, then we're going to Edge of Eternities, and at first, when I was looking it up, it said it was not to be announced. And then, I guess, during the presentation, they dropped the date, which was August 1st of next year. This is the sci-fi inspired set, but I thought that's what Infinity was supposed to be. But I get the feeling this is going to be the set that's going to truly explain how the Universes Beyond sets are gelling with Magic the Gathering. Expect a multiverse shenanigans happening of some sort in this. Then there's the Spider-Man set and the unannounced Universes Beyond set coming out later next year. So that means the Spider-Man set, and then sometime after that is another Universes Beyond set. And they haven't released those dates yet. And those sets have to drop if they want to hit 2025 within the last 4 months of the year. 4 months of the year. So, yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed year for Magic the Gathering, especially on the tail end. And the sets, 6 sets a year in standard is going to be a lot. Now, I hope that each one of these do not have precons, because on average, every single Magic set has 4 commander precons that they drop when they drop with the commander sets. That is going to be 24 commander sets a year on top of the 6 product releases. If they drop commander sets in every single release next year, standard release, I think it will take away from how I feel the positivity of Foundations easing the workload and lightening the load just for sets in general. Because you got to think, each one is 100 cards, yeah, basic lands and all that whatnot. On average, they create 15 to 20 new cards per commander precon, on average. Some a little less than others. So that's 80 cards per commander set. So that's 80 times 6. It's like another 300 cards-ish, almost. Like 240, 300 cards that are going to have to be created. So that's a whole new set right there when you think about it, which could be spread out into the 6 other sets and make them a little beefier. But you're undoing what I feel Foundations is supposed to be doing. Foundations is the set that is not just a jumping point for new players, but also a base set like we used to have. Used to have base sets, 10th edition, 9th edition, 4th edition, revised, alpha, beta. There used to be a core set, base set a year. And now I think Foundations is supposed to be that forever base set until Foundations 2 comes out, probably in 2030, which is probably when Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. And you'll get more you'll get more in that, where it just might be a reprinting with taking some cards out and putting some cards in, who knows. But at the end of the day, I get the feeling that Foundations is positive because it's lightening the load and lightening the set numbers, the amount of cards per set, not art, just cards. Unique cards per set are going to be going a little bit down, which is going to help in more ways than we can even anticipate right now. Not just on the design philosophy, but also on a collectability philosophy. Look, we've already headed into the realm of the chase cards, the baseball style sport cards, where you can't have pieces of the bat or a piece of outfit in a card, but we do have those those serialized numbered cards. The 1 of 1 ring being the most known. But, how many serialized Edgar Markov cards are there going to be in there? Are we talking 200, 300, 400, 500? Wizards can create the scarcity of a super scarce product already. And now they can just even refine it earlier, even more. And now you're getting into the bit where there are retail bros, and there have always been retail bros and people in investment people in the game. Alpha Investments is a channel that I appreciate the ever-loving you-know-what out of, because the man knows his stuff. Disagree with him or not, he knows the business. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the ebb and flow. As long as we don't hit Pokemon levels of idiocy, and we're almost there when it comes to the player base who doesn't play the game but just collects. Hopefully we can avoid that. But I think it's already a little too late for that. We've kind of crossed that bridge. And the final bit of news, I think, Pioneer Masters on Arena. That is right. They also announced that when it came to MagicCon. And they barely announced it. I can't even find it on their website, but they did. Pioneer Masters is coming at the end of the year. It will be a 300 plus card draftable set, but it will also fill in almost all of the gaps between Paper Pauper and Arena Explorer. Explorer is Arena's version of Pauper at the Pioneer at the moment, because there's no one-to-one parity between cards in the digital format. Pioneer Masters is going to change that for the most part. Now, is every single meta card going to be in there? There's going to be a few that aren't, and there will be a way around it in Arena. Like, we're talking very super edge case, like common cards that would never see the light of day except as a one of in this random deck that only 0.05% of the players play. It's going to be cards like that. But other than that, the meta in Pioneer will be fulfilled with Pioneer Masters. I cannot wait for that set to come out on Arena. Dig into Pioneer because it's a format I like to play whenever I get to play it, but Wizards doesn't like you playing it for some reason. Because there's no Pioneer RCQ seasons at all because it's standard, modern. There's no incentive to play Pioneer, and now they're dropping Pioneer on Arena. I don't get it. Make it make sense. Wizards of the Coast, what are you doing? Whew. All right. Let's go into the new releases, but we've already done that. Literally, their Pioneer Masters is 3 sentences in an entire article about Arena announcements and who won MagicCon. Congratulations to Javier Dominguez for winning the World Champion and 2024 Player of the Year. Javier won the Player of the Year based on his performances at 3 Pro Tours this season and the World Championships 30. He was awarded the Kai Bud Player of the Year trophy. Congratulations to everybody who played. You all were awesome. I didn't get to check out any of the coverage because Wizards coverage is terrible and they don't tell you where it is. Or how to see it. They see it on Twitch, but I don't get any promotions, and I'm actually subscribed to Magic the Gathering's channel for things like this, and I didn't get a single notification that this event was happening. I knew it was happening, but just saying, you didn't get it. Plus, Black Ops 6 really has monopolized my life. Jumpstart's also coming to Arena. And that was it. Like, it was a ton of things. I didn't even get to watch any of the Commander stuff that happened or transpired. I talked about that last week with the Rules Committee. My opinion still stands on certain things. But other than that, I think we're in for a great year of Magic. Hey, look, I'm allowed to disagree with Magic Gathering. I disagree with the MSRP, and I really feel Foundations is the home run set. I feel like this is where it takes a turn for the better. I'm allowed to agree with that. I am also allowed to disagree with the amount of sets now in Standard. That is a lot of sets. I get where they're coming from, but I also anticipate definitely some broken things, especially with the BNR, the banned and restricted announcements, only taking really place once per year or within a 2-week window after a set comes out when they see a problem happening. But we will find that out next year, I guess, apparently, when the growing pains of the Foundation era really take hold. But once again, I'm looking forward to 2025 in Magic the Gathering. Whereas my heart was broken with Wizards of the Coast taking over Commander, now I'm kind of like excited again. And I'm words can't describe the roller coaster of emotions these past few weeks have been for Commander Magic players and people like me who play Standard a little bit and who draft as well and who love the limited format. Watching the quote-unquote game die, as many people are saying, is simply not true. It's just going through a rough patch. Admittedly, rougher than most rough patches it's gone through. But I'm excited for it. I hope you get to a store and play some Foundations when it drops in pre-release November 8th, and the set official announcements November 15th. It officially announces November 15th, but pre-release will be November 8th. That'll be next weekend. So if you can get out, learn how to, and you've never played the game before, you can learn how to play. There's going to be people there, not only employees of a local game store that you may go to, but also players themselves will be more than welcome, more than happy to help you introduce you to Magic the Gathering. And if you've never wanted to play and you want to get a head start, here's my secret cheat code. Download Magic the Gathering Arena. This is not an ad whatsoever. And their tutorial on that program is single-handedly the best tutorial on teaching you how to play the game of Magic that has ever existed. To the point, in 2018, before Arena came out, and before I got into beta for it, I was in the closed beta for this game. That's how long I've been playing Arena. I was working on a script with a collective that I previously used to associate with, and it was going to be a comedy bit, learn how to play the game of Magic. And I had literally a 30-minute script that we were going to break down into 5-minute segments, written. Even conceptualize certain things that I was going to do, certain angles, certain shots, certain card stores I was going to film at. And then I played the tutorial on Arena. And I took that script and threw it away. And I looked at the collective that I used to associate myself with and be like, we can't do this. It's worthless. Play the tutorial and tell me that's not the best tutorial that has ever been created on teaching you how to play the game. And they all came back and said, yeah, you're right. That is the best tutorial ever made. There's no reason for the script. And it was heartbreaking for me because I spent so much time working on that script and then not realizing that when I got into Arena's closed beta, that the tutorial was going to be that good. So please, if go to Magic the Gathering Arena and download the game, play the tutorial at least, so you kind of get a little knowledge on how to play the game. It's still the best. But if you don't do that, still go to your local gaming store for the Foundations pre-release and Foundation set release. There will be players there that will be more than happy to teach you how to play. If you bump into me, I doubt it, but I will be more than happy as well to teach you how to play. I like kind of being an ambassador to the game. I kind of like being an ambassador to the game, considering how much I play it. My name is Dom Douglas, the back-to-back commentator of the year for Extreme World Wrestling, for this episode of Goblin Grenade Podcast on Max Villains and Heroes YouTube channel, and may your top deck always be mythic.